Well, good Friday to you guys. Hope you've had a good week. All in all, I'd say we had some pretty good weather throughout much of the week, but the big story has been the threat for severe weather. In fact, it looks like a large-scale severe weather outbreak could take place today through early Sunday. So that's something we're going to have to watch closely, especially tomorrow for the Tennessee Valley. Now, today is going to be a quiet day. Temperatures climbing into the 70s, a little bit breezy out there, but today is the day to get your severe weather plan in place. If you live in a manufactured home or a mobile home, typically just not able to stand up to strong straight line winds or tornadoes especially, so you might want to find somewhere sturdy to kind of hunker down into tomorrow. Go ahead and start making those arrangements today and just have that plan in place, because this is a powerful system. We got high wind warnings across Texas, Oklahoma, wind advisories for Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, parts of West Tennessee, all the way down to Louisiana. High wind warnings or watches for East Tennessee. We'll likely have wind advisories posted for us at some point, and it's all because of this strong system that's moving across the northern tier of the country. As we take a look at your satellite and radar, now there's not a lot going on this morning across the southeast, but we have this system that's winding up across portions of the northern plains. This is going to spawn a secondary surface low in the southeast, and it's just going to be a mess across much of the country. Later today, this cold front is going to spark some strong convection across Illinois, parts of Missouri, Wisconsin, West Tennessee, down into Mississippi. That's where the severe threat's going to be today. But again, taking a look at your radar right now, things are relatively quiet, so we're not going to have any issues today. So like I mentioned, go ahead and start getting that severe plan in place. So as we track out your Futurecast, now this is our in-house short-term model. Saturday morning, we're going to have some initial storms starting to break out, and I'm actually going to play this hour by hour. So we're going to zoom back out. There we go. By about 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, couple thunderstorms out there. Can't completely rule out a stray strong storm or two early on Saturday, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of instability. If anything, there's going to be more of a hail threat early on Saturday. Those showers continue. Now, if we can get more heavy rain Saturday morning, that may dampen some of the afternoon convection, which would be a good thing. But if we have clearing skies, we'll have more fuel added to the fire, so to speak. So we'll have to watch that pretty closely. But nonetheless, the atmosphere is going to be juiced and primed for severe weather across much of the southeast. So by midday, we start to see some of these storms developing across Alabama and Mississippi. And where we have these cells, potentially individual cells, especially this over Mississippi, that's not a good look, because that's a short-term model guidance, or high resolution model guidance, picking up on supercellular structures, and that's where we could have damaging tornadoes and the potential for large hail and very strong winds. For us, we're not seeing that structure just yet on Saturday afternoon, but then by the time we get into the latter half of the afternoon and evening, we start to have the model trying to pick up on some of these individual cells, and that's where we could have a tornado threat. So beginning around 3 p.m. through the early evening hours, we could have some of these supercells trying to develop across northwest Georgia, northeast Alabama, southeast Tennessee, and middle Tennessee, and that's where we could have that tornado threat. So hopefully this part of the severe weather day or event doesn't come to be. Sometimes you may have the conditions that are very favorable, but it just doesn't work out. There are so many things that could happen in the upper levels of the atmosphere that could dampen that convection. So hopefully something like that happens, but if it doesn't, we'll have the potential for some supercells, which could produce, again, damaging winds and potential for tornadoes. And we're still going to track out that main line that's going to come through probably between about 10 and 2 or 3 a.m., and that's where you're going to have the potential for straight line winds, isolated tornadoes, and large hail. So we'll have to watch that as well. Notice this goes all the way through, I think this actually ends right around 1, 2 o'clock. So by the end of this frame, again, this is our I think this is the HRRR model. Let's double check. Yeah, this is the HRRR. So this is only 48 hours. Notice by 2 o'clock, what is going on? That line, or that main line's moving into northeast Georgia and out of our area. So yeah, that's just a general look at what you can expect here. Now, as we take a look at some other parameters, this is our lightning, hail, and shear. This has our helicity swaths, which measures these little lines shear, vertical wind shear, and vorticity or rotation, which gives us an idea of where there could be supercells that could produce tornadoes. So during Saturday, Alabama, Mississippi, the Cumberland Plateau, parts of southeast Tennessee, it's all going to be a possibility. We'll also have that threat of hail and lightning. So again, the atmosphere is really going to be primed tomorrow for widespread severe weather outbreak. Today that begins for places like St. Louis, up through Omaha, Chicago. So this red bullseye, that's going to be your highest probability of severe weather. Tornadoes, damaging winds, all going to be possible. But notice we do have this marginal risk for places like, I can zoom in a little bit more, that level 1 out of 5 risk for Chattanooga, Bradley County, Athens, Fort Payne, Dalton. This is all for probably Saturday morning as this weak line starts to move in. I think it'll fade away, so I'm not really worried about the severe threat tomorrow morning or today. Tomorrow is a different story. Again, afternoon, evening, we're going to have to watch things. So afternoon, you got the threat for those individual supercells trying to get going. If that happens, we'll have an initial tornado and damaging wind threat and some large hail. And then later on, after about 9, 10 o'clock, you have the main line coming through along the cold front and more linear structure where you can get the damaging straight line winds and still an isolated tornado threat. So it's kind of going to come in two waves that I'm going to watch, afternoon and evening, and then overnight hours, kind of the idea of what we're looking at tomorrow. So we're under an enhanced risk. This is all products from the Storm Prediction Center. You don't want to get too caught up in the colors simply because everyone's going to have a pretty elevated risk for severe weather. The highest risk or the highest confidence is in this red shade, level 4 out of 5 risk, moderate Fort Birmingham, Jackson, Montgomery, down to the Gulf Coast, New Orleans. So that's where you could really see some of the stronger tornadoes tomorrow. But even for us, we're going to have that threat. So as we look at your tornado threat, again, this is a probabilistic map here. So it's a 10% chance of having a tornado or a tornado-warned storm within a 25-mile radius. So if you pinpointed Chattanooga and you drew a radius or a circle 25 miles outside of Chattanooga, somewhere within there's about a 10% chance of a tornado. It doesn't seem like a lot, but on any given day, or calm days, it's 0% chance. And we like the 0% chance. But again, the highest risk is going to be down in two parts of North Alabama, Central Alabama, and Central Mississippi. We're also going to have an elevated wind threat. So the 15% chance is still the same thing, 25-mile radius, highest threat, or most confidence is going to be across parts of Alabama. So it's going to be a busy day. Also outlining a significant severe threat from southern Kentucky across much of Tennessee, and that includes our entire coverage area. So this blob, this red area, that's where you're going to have the best ingredients coming together for potential significant severe weather. And what that means is EF2 tornadoes or greater, 75-mile-per-hour winds, 2-inch hail in diameter or larger. Diameter, not diamity. These conditions are going to be favorable for this. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, it's going to be somewhere in this zone, which includes our area. So yeah, we have the potential for tornadoes, and some of which could be strong and maybe even long tracking. Hopefully it doesn't pan out, but again, the language from the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service offices across the Southeast has been strong. And just looking at the parameters myself, yes, this is probably our first significant, it's definitely our first significant threat of this spring. But also in last spring, we didn't have any threats that really materialized like this. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. We always hope for the best case scenario, where we just have some thunderstorms, the severe weather kind of stays at bay, and that's always a possibility. I've seen, moderate, high risk kind of bust because there's one thing that goes wrong. Just like a snow forecast, if you get warm layers up in the atmosphere, it can completely change the snow forecast. Just like with severe weather, if you get dry layers up high or not enough wind shear, it can bust a severe weather forecast as well. So that's always a possibility as well. So again, going to be the threat for significant severe weather. I would have a plan in place. It's going to be so important because I have bumped up the large hail and tornado threat to medium. Still thinking high winds going to be our primary concern. So what can you do now? We know that there's going to be the severe potential during the afternoon and evening. Weather radio, you have time. Ace Hardware, I think you can get them at Academy. Go pick up a NOAA weather radio. It'll only set you back about $30. You can program that to your county. You can just type in on YouTube, how to program my weather radio. You can program multiple counties. That way, if you program the county to your west, you'll know what's coming into your county in the next 30 or 40 minutes. Turn your weather alerts on. Also, you can do that through YouTube or the internet. Just Google, how do I turn my weather alerts on the phone? It's pretty simple. Just go to your settings. Local 3, obviously, we're going to be here all weekend. David, Hannah, me. Audrey's on vacation, so she's not going to be here, but it'll be us 3 on Saturday. So we'll be live on Facebook, and we'll be cutting into programming as needed. So if there's something you want to watch tomorrow evening on NBC, I don't know what the programming schedule is, but there's a pretty good chance we're going to be cutting in, and we're not going to be apologetic about it either. So if you have something you really want to watch and there's tornado warnings, find another way to watch it. Not to be rude or blunt, but that's just how it's going to be tomorrow. Again, WEA alerts on your phone. Friends and family, make sure everyone knows about this. If they don't watch news or they don't keep up with the weather, give them a call and be like, hey, tomorrow, pretty high risk for severe weather. Make sure you have a safe place to go in case there's a warning issued. And any storm shelters, I'll look to see if there's any of those, but unfortunately there's just not a lot. I don't know if we have any tornado shelters in Hamilton County. Also, if you have a basement, best place to go. Storm shelter, even better. If not, an interior room or closet on the first floor of your home if you have a multi-layer home. If you live in an apartment building and you live on the second or third or top floor, try to find somewhere safe. If you live in a mobile home or a manufactured home, if you have friends and family with a basement or anywhere, on a hotel if you can afford it, just you don't want to stay in a mobile home tomorrow. The foundation just not strong enough to withstand really high winds. Unfortunately, large open rooms, windows, you don't want to be near windows, vehicles, death traps, especially if there's tornadoes. Don't camp out under an underpass or overpass, I should say. So again, these are just some things to keep in the back of your mind. Have your plan, multiple ways of receiving alerts. I know kind of harp on this, but it's just so important. Know the difference between a watch and a warning. A tornado warning means it's either a tornado on the ground or it's radar indicated. That means you don't have a whole lot of time, so you need to get to your safe place immediately, and you should monitor those conditions closely. A tornado watch means, hey, ingredients are there. There could be tornadoes or there could be severe thunderstorm warnings happening in the next couple of hours. You have a little more time to plan. But you see that watch pops up on your phone and you're like, okay, I need to really pay close attention to the weather. Warning pops up immediately. And I know there's an analogy all over the internet. You have your taco watch, your taco warning. Your taco watch means you have all the ingredients ready to go. They're placed on the side. You're ready to make your tacos. Taco warning means tacos ready to eat. Go ahead and eat it. So that's kind of an easier way to remember it if you're more of a visual learner. Also, here's our coverage areas. So these are the counties we serve. So in Tennessee, Marion, Grundy, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, Van Buren, Hamilton, Meigs, Ray, Bradley, McMinn, Monroe, and Polk. In Cherokee County and Western North Carolina, Fannin, Gilmer, Murray, Whitfield, Gordon, Walker, Cadusa, Dade, Chattooga County in Georgia, Jackson, DeKalb counties in Northeast Alabama. So if there are any warnings or watches in these areas, we'll be live on Facebook, obviously, and then we'll be streaming on air as well. So there's multiple ways you can catch us. Also follow all of our pages, Hannah Sky, David Carnes, Audrey Shirley, Clay Smith, Facebook. Some of us have Twitter, some of us has an Instagram, so you can follow us that way as well. So those are just some things to consider as we get into tomorrow. I encourage you all to plan ahead today. Be prepared tomorrow. We hope for the best. I know a lot of people around here have storm anxiety. We've had some pretty bad severe weather outbreaks over the last couple of decades. So that's why even, these events don't always pan out, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they can be serious, and there's been some serious messaging and language from different weather agencies. So you want to pay close attention, take it seriously, and just be prepared to get to your safe place tomorrow in under 5 minutes, just in case. Because as soon as the tornado warning's issued for your county, it's time to take that action. So be prepared tomorrow. I'll look for resources for you guys. If there's anything I missed, let me know. But again, tomorrow afternoon into the overnight hours when you really need to pay close attention to the weather, I'll have another update coming up at noon, and Chief Meteorologist David Carnes will be in this evening. So stay safe. Have a good day.